Hello, my friends. If you gave a tour of our world, do you know the absolutes? With as diverse and wondrous and magnificent and beautiful that our world is, we never get to see that part. I'm sure some of you live in these places, but, you know, to us that's stuck in concrete jungles, we don't know and see the rest of the world. And when we search for information, AI or whatever it is, it seems to try to appease you. Like, depending on the question that you ask, it depends on the answer that you get. So if you try rewording your question next time, right, see how different, of things that you get, how different of an outcome or answer you get. It's almost like they try to keep you in your bubble, right? So it agrees with you. Like YouTube. YouTube will recommend videos based upon what you like. It doesn't base it on truth. It's just your choices, just to keep you happy, right? To entertain you. So to find absolute was very difficult, almost impossible for me. Now, sure, normal everyday things, that's no problem, right? And even though that I don't believe in space, okay, or so-called space travel, I wanted to see where we stand at currently. And if I did believe in space, can we do anything that remotely is space travel? Well, to my amazement, in plain sight, no. We can't go anywhere. Now, I didn't trick the AI search engine to agree with me, and I didn't have bias towards any information, right, that I read. It was plain as day. And the problem that we have is the harshness of space, the powerful vacuum that's claimed, the drastic differences in, from one spectrum to the other of cold and hot. Also, the X-rays, the gamma, alpha, beta, every ray that the Incredible Hulk was exposed to, right, basically. But space is like stepping into a microwave oven, a freezer, and a fire pit all at one time. So the problem, or one of them, was the personal protection that we have. Because currently, we cannot stand next to volcanoes. If we do, it's for a very short time. But we can't touch it. We can't hang out in the middle of a tornado. No, things will just go right through us. We can't stand on the very bottom of the ocean, 5 miles deep, right? We can't go in certain places, right? Whatsoever. But one thing stood out to me. Cleaning up Chernobyl and Fukushima and all that, places like that, right? Well, there's a man that wanted to buy some spacesuits from NASA, and I'm not going to take any credit for this. This is one of the old Rob Skiba videos where they ask NASA to provide them with personal protection so that they can enter into Chernobyl and Fukushima, right? So they can do some cleanup. Well, the people who make the spacesuits, $10 million a piece, I believe is what the quote was, said that absolutely not. No matter what you do, they will not protect you from no kind of, radiation like that. No. And see, they didn't know that he was trying to bust them out. They were just simply looking out for themselves. They didn't want to sell these people, personal protection that would not protect them. So that told me a lot that, they can't even do that, right? Now, how about if we had a starship? Think of it. Does it seem logical for us to not even make it there, but the ship does because we don't have anything to wear, right? And by the way, we're nowhere near any type of discovery or technology or anything that can, first off, make it to the nearest star, let alone with a human on board, okay? NASA claims that we do not live long enough to travel the galaxy. Oh my goodness, they said they have to do the wormhole thing first and learn how to do that first, and then they'll be able to, So they're such liars, right? Well, I found out here on this earth that there was a couple of things that I could say was true, right? A couple of things I could say were absolute. Well, I claim that history was altered right from the very beginning, the moment it happened, the moment that the kings of the earth were men and they were no longer whatever they were. This absolute I know. The aliens that everyone sees or claims, those are watchers, all right? struck down, cut down from what they used to be. And the second, the Ancient One, the Ancient of Days, the Fiery One, the Most High, Yahweh, Jehovah, what the Greek called him, what America, what's English, Jehovah, right? That was the true God. There was only one God. You could either be good or bad. You either worship God or Baal. And it was Baal of the sun, moon, and stars, right? The celestial beings, right? And because they were celestial beings, because they came from the heavens, that's where they lived at. And, they taught man that. Well, so I looked and I searched and I found a lot of really odd things. And those two absolutes stuck out, and I'll explain why I say they're absolutes. Because I did research about King Og, about Lamech and the Leviathan, dinosaurs, just everything. King Herod, King James, Constantine, you name it. It was all the same story. It didn't matter. It didn't just come from white people, It wasn't just Jews. It wasn't just Christians. The entire world has the same accounts, right? And no matter our differences, right, we should demand answers as concerned residents and brothers and sisters, right? When we ask a question, it's silence. And it shouldn't be that way.
If you don't answer me when I speak to you, I'm going to put my foot in your ass. Is that clear, dummy?
Yeah. But anyway, back to what I was saying. These two absolutes. One of them, these watchers, these zookeepers, the maintenance men, whatever they were, they saw that we couldn't govern ourselves, and once they showed themselves to man and started hanging out with us and mingling among us, like they say, right? Well, we worshiped them as gods. People had never seen these magnificent beings before, and everyone who's seen them, it's written all accounts all over the world, they knew they were not normal humans. They were superhumans. They became the men of renown. They were the heroes of old. Them, their children, their creations, and one other thing I want to throw in there, their buddies, their friends from other parts of the world that we can't go. The extra land beings or extraterrestrials, right? But see, once, like I said, something happened, it started a chain of events where history gets rewritten by man, right? Not inspired by God or preserved by any prophet, but by the kings of the earth who were nothing but trying to control everyone like, the sons of God did. But, because we can't rule ourselves, it corrupts you entirely to have that much power. Well, we know the story behind all that. And of course, I say it all the time, our grandfathers told us who they were. But a few things stuck out to me. That one of the things was the Dead Sea Scrolls. You remember that? They were recently found and had an account where 3 watchers ask a man, who is it that's the greatest of us, right? Who is it that you choose? Well, that's not the problem. The problem is when the man turned around to look at them to see which one was the best, I guess, or whatever, right? Who is the greatest of them? He was petrified. He was scared to death because they looked like snakes. They were reptilians. They had snake skin. They were scary. This was not poetic either, People all over the world seen it, right? In the last few years, David Icke don't seem so crazy, does he? The weather balloons hooked with satellites underneath them. Was that not funny? Oh, goodness. Because, you could tell somebody all day long, look, I'm telling you the truth. This is the absolute truth. That's not how it works. Because man has repeated the lie over and over again, it wasn't the man that wrote the original lie. It was the people who continue to repeat it. There's a few channels on YouTube that do this. One of them, I'm not even going to say his name or nothing, but my goodness, I know he is paid by the CIA. I'm telling y'all, and NASA and them pay this kid. And he just tells you, he has some of the most recent pictures from NASA. He has the most recent information, everything. And it's very, very odd. Some of you probably know who I'm talking about. He's from another country, young, and he just tells you all about space and just matter of fact. And he says some of the most outlandish crap you've ever heard in your life, and people eat it up as truth. Even though, if you search and find out what he's telling you, it's complete trash. But, but I don't know. People believe it, right? Now, after these fleshly bodies were gone, right? What was left over, right? No more do these beings walk the earth. So what is that, right? What is it? Well, I'll tell you. Their great stature that they had, right, was cut down to that of a child. And their great strength that they had, right, the strength to just rip a human apart, it was taken so that they could no longer have dominion over man physically. And their beauty was taken, right, so that they'd no longer be attractive. And it was replaced with what humans would fear, because never again, we says, never again would they marvel at your presence and worship you. Instead, you'll be unlike any other being known to man. Heh, that's creepy, right? And they are creepy looking. If you look at, what they say, these little aliens, right? They're creepy. And basically, they, and I know you've noticed it, no sexual organs, right? Because no offspring from men and them will ever be possible again. It was made that way. They were given gray skin like frogs, all right? God took away that smooth, soft human flesh, right, that soaked up the warm sunshine, because in darkness is where they're going to tread the rest of their lives. And that, my friends, is your little aliens, the watchers who've been demoted. That's why their technology helps them out, because without technology, they're nothing. They're little frail beings because they had to be. That was their punishment. You want to have dominion over man? I'm going to show you. Now man has dominion over you. A 12-year-old can now whip your ass, right? You're not gonna go around stomping people out and doing things like that anymore, and having people worship you and what have you. And all that was stripped from them. That's your aliens. And I'm not sure why, for what reason we accept, just anything and everything that we hear, anything and everything that we see on these mainstream, things like the weather balloon that had the satellite underneath it. You realize that was a personal picture. NASA didn't snap that picture. That was from a person like me and you. Once they realized everyone was seeing these things falling out of the sky for whatever reason it was happening, okay, whether they had some sort of a electromagnetic storm or something happened, and then they just started, dropping out of the sky, right? Well, they couldn't have that, so they made up the whole, Chinese spy satellite bullshit and told everybody. And, the masses kind of believed it, right? People like me and probably some of the people watching this video did not buy that whatsoever, because your eyes don't lie to you. It was a weather balloon with a freaking satellite, or what looked to us to be the space station underneath it. Right? So why we do that, I don't know. This is a crazy, crazy place. I feel like I stand like right on the edge of Crazy River and watch them all go by, and I see where they're going, right? It's like off the side of the cliff, right? And no matter what you say, you can't stop them. Once they get in, the water is warm, and come on, I'll take care of you, and come on, come here, and everybody jumps in head first. And only a few of us stay out and say, no, I don't want to be no part of that. Right? You go ahead, and I'll just catch you later. And that must be the narrow path that God was talking about. It wasn't some kind of holy and righteous thing. It was just, don't do what the idiots do, right? Kind of thing. But anyway, that's just my take on it. The absolutes that are here on this earth just don't make any sense. But I'm going to leave you with one thing. And it's pretty crazy what I found. Well, it's not crazy what I found. It's just crazy. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. I don't know. Well, one of my friends came over and he had a King James version of the Bible. And And he had said, we got on the subject, one thing led to another. He said, I just bought it, right? Whatever, right? And so what we checked. My Bible's old and his was fairly new. Psalms 83:18. In my Bible, the King James Version that I have many versions of Bible, but anyway, the King James Version I had says, that men may know that thou, whose name is Jehovah, art the most high over all the earth. In his Bible, that was just made, apparently in 2020 or 21, I believe is what his book says, it says, that men may know that thou, whose name is the Lord, art the most high. And I thought, well, now wait a second, right? Come on. And if you do the history, back and you look up King Herod, Constantine, even Nebuchadnezzar was guilty of it too, but they basically outlawed the name of God. King James, all of them, they did that on purpose, okay? There was no Allah until 70 AD. There was no Buddha and all that crap. They are lying to you, okay? That was just merely fallen angels, and they all had different, skin. They looked different, some short, tall, fat, weird, ugly, strange, beautiful. I think it was just all different, right? And so what I'm getting at is this. They all knew this Sumerian text that was written, right? This Anunnaki, right? Now, I did my research into that too, and I mean, I'm not going to believe, two people or three people who could tell you what it said, and then when you see this beautiful statues that they got this from, okay, where they actually got most of the stories from is this beautifully carved, like almost like a CNC machine did it with a computer, and then somebody tinked on it with it's just crap. So there's two different people. One person made the beauty, right? The other person came along and wrote a story on it that has nothing to do with nothing. It's just bullshit. And so, I don't know. You do your research and you'll see. But what I'm telling you is this: is I looked and I realized NASA and all of our world leaders and everyone. What do they say? They want to put their feet on the stars of heaven, right? They want to exalt themselves above God, right? They want to claim the north, right? They ascend above the heights of the clouds, right? They want to, have starships to travel in the heavens. Well, then I thought of Isaiah 14. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning star? How art thou cut down to the ground, who did weaken the nations? For you have said in your heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exact my throne above the stars of God. I will sit on the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. That's what NASA and everyone else claims that they do, right? I'm just saying. Oh my goodness, right? Oh geez. What can you say? It's crazy shit, right? Oh, me. I love you all. I want you to take care of yourselves and be happy today. Do something good. It's a beautiful day, and just be happy. Don't let it get you down, right? Stay frosty, my friends, right? Love each other. Be excellent to each other. I love you all. I am Wild Dog, and I am out of here.